Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not the next speaker on your list because unfortunately some of our speakers are not here today. So I just want to acknowledge the speakers who are not here and the good work that they're doing in our community. So my name is Debbie Moore, and I'm a leadership and an executive coach. I work in the field of transformational change. I get it, there's a lot of words there, so I'll explain a little bit more. What it means is I actually work with groups, with leadership teams and with individuals on what's going on the inside. What's going on in terms of our limiting false beliefs, what's going on in terms of our bodies. And what I mean by that is we all get triggered. It might be an email that comes in. It might be the telephone rings and we know it's that phone call that we don't want to take. It might be a bigger challenge, like the challenges that we're all faced with in our community, in our world today. But we get triggered, and we've all heard of fight, flight and freeze. Some of us might not have heard of the newer one that's been added, which is people pleasing. But what happens is our unconscious kicks in and we go into automatic pilot and we don't always realise what's going on. What probably very few, if anybody, knows in the room today is 10 years ago, I couldn't have stood in front of you and spoken. Yeah, I'd got a very successful career on the outside. I'd worked my way up from being a 15-year-old working behind the food counter at what was then British Home Stores. I'd worked my way up through industry, through a cross range of sectors, and I was an HR director. But on the inside, I felt alone. I felt very, very disconnected to myself. I felt like I was working really, really hard, and although life looked successful on the outside, on the inside, it was pretty uncomfortable. And then something happened, and I'm not going to go into this today, but something happened and I ended up with PTSD and I felt broken. Through help in our community, through help globally, I actually discovered what was going on in my own unconscious and in my own limiting beliefs. And some of the speakers have spoken to some of the things that I experience today. You may or may not know that as women, the research shows we have 3 key power blocks: shame, lack and isolation, that prevent us from really fulfilling our potential. As men and women, we're all experiencing these, what I'm going to call a social change right now, where we're not clear about our roles. Excuse me. Traditionally, I'm just going to use some very straightforward examples. A man might have opened a door for a woman. These days, he's not quite sure what reaction he's going to get. That's just a small example that I've picked up from people who I speak to. What I've discovered over the past 6 months through the work that I do, and I'm very grateful to Kamla and Cos and other people in the room and not in the room today who I'm doing projects with, as well as my private clients, is I'm discovering, to build on Professor Monica's work and children, I'm discovering that there are a lot of what I'm calling, because they're younger than me, young professionals, young leaders, young entrepreneurs in our communities who've got so much potential to actually make game-changing, world-changing decisions, impacts for our future, yet they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed with the paradox of choice. Looking out there on social media is like, that person says I should do that, that person says I should do that. The structures, the roles that historically we've been in may or may not be working for those people. And what I'm hearing from people is, it's like my parents or my caregivers want the very best for me, but actually it's not quite feeling right for me. What do I do? And there's almost like a paralysis of a procrastination, I suppose. And also the imposter syndrome kicks in. Who am I? Why should I be able to do something that makes a bigger difference? So I have an ask today, and the ask is this. Although I am hearing certain things from the people that I'm working with, next month I'm going to be putting a questionnaire out into LinkedIn, and also with anybody's permission here to email people with the questionnaire, because what I'm really keen to understand is, what are those problems using your language? I know the solutions, but I don't want to imprint a solution onto a problem that's not fully defined. So if you are in that category, or you know somebody who's in that category, I'm calling them the 30-somethings, knowing that there are some people who are in their 20s and some people who are in their 40s. You've probably gathered by that they're a lot younger than me. I'm looking to really understand the problems, the key challenges they're faced with right now, so that I can build on the programs that I'm currently developing and delivering to help young professionals, young entrepreneurs and young leaders in our community make a difference through actually changing what's going on the inside, to enable them to fulfill their potential. So if you're interested in coming and having a word with me, I'll be around for the rest of the day. Thank you to all the speakers who have gone already, and of course for this opportunity to talk. And you can also find me by email me at debbiemorecoaching.com. Thank you for your time today, really appreciate it.